Welcome back. This is the final part of Dewey's conversation with Shareen.
All right. So one last question. And
Famous last words.
this has been something that's been in my mind. So you mentioned, so our spirit is our spirit, right? So we're a spirit. And then there is the baby being that comes in, uh, that gives the body. Do you know where this is leading to?
I think so, but we'll see. I'm not gonna guess.
So what I'm always confused is like, how does that work? Like we are this spirit and then we turn into a baby being and then like, how does this whole thing work?
Hmm.
Or is the baby being
Again,
separate?
this is the world according to Shareen.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
So based on just looking at this, remembering all the things, all the parts, right? And talking with, I do spend a lot of time talking with spirits. Um, so if you think, hmm, well, let's go backwards. You are a body, right? You have this body. How many cells are in your body?
Billion,
Billions,
trillion, yeah.
trillions. Each one of those cells has an outer membrane, has a boundary. It is an individual cell. It has all the components for the cell. It has its own DNA, its own RNA, its own chromosomes. It has an energy generation center. It has all that. And each cell, we have different types of cells,
Mhm.
right? We have blood cells and liver cells and whatever else,
Mhm.
bone cells. But all those cells belong to this body.
Mhm.
It is all one thing,
Mhm.
right? So if we take that analogy and we apply it to spirit,
Okay.
right? You as a spirit are a spirit and you're huge. You are
Mhm.
so big you can't even fathom.
Okay.
Okay. And in this body, each of our, like we create cells, the cells die, that like that cell has a whole lifetime.
Mhm.
Might be minutes, might be like, depends on the cell type, right?
Mhm.
So as spirit, like you said, we just want different experiences. We want to know all the things. And so in a sense, each baby being could be equated or compared to the cell in your body, right? So so if I if I have if I have a liver cell and it takes 900,000 of them to create my liver and the functioning of that liver, you could perhaps say that there's a part of you that started out as a liver cell and has had started out as a baby being, had experience, and it wants to grow and learn about that experience. It had agreements, it wants to try again, and all of that has karma and all that. So in a way, yes, when I talk about your high self, your over spirit, there's Cindy Dale talks about it in some of her books. Um, Barbara Brenna talks about it. The oversoul is beyond it's beyond your imagination and understanding, almost in the same way that God is, but God's even bigger. Right? So, and that oversoul part of you understands and is keeping track of all of its learning and all of experiences of its cells much better than we keep track of the experience of each of ourselves. But cells, not selves. So from my perspective, the part of you that comes in to be a baby being, there is some choices already being made on many levels, to experience this, experience that. If you ever visit or try to visit your Akashic records, A lot of people see that differently, right? Because there's the book of life version where you go to vacation, you walk up to the book of life and you find your name and what's your purpose, right? And I think that's very accurate. It's very similar to what we started talking about with like my purpose in this lifetime is forgiveness or
Mhm.
love or whatever that word is. Everything about your life is going to be about that,
Mhm.
about this personality's life. But your acacia holds all of the experiences your spirit has had. And if you really are willing to look at it without trying to change it or alternate or mess it up, you'll find that there are whole I often see it kind of like a library, some sort
Mhm.
of combination of the Smithsonian and the Jedi library where there's all these books and you can pull out a whole section and you can get lost in the stacks and it's amazing. There's so much. Um, yeah, so did that kind of answer your question or not so much?
So, not trying to simplify, well, um, I guess in a nutshell, what you're saying is, again, this is the world according to Shareen, does not have to be everybody's, truth or whatever, is that
Certainly, yeah.
a baby being is basically like a part of us. Like we have many parts. Maybe like in a human body, we have the hands or the eyes or the nose or the legs. Like a baby being is part of our bigger spirit, if you will, if you think of
Hmm.
spirit as a jigsaw puzzle. Um, and so that's just one part of us. And that part is the one that roams around and finds us bodies, so to speak, or
Hmm.
come into the physical body. That's when the mother gets pregnant and whatever. um in a nutshell, sort of, that's
That's
kind of,
that's probably
I
the
mean, the
simplest
simplest,
analogy
yeah,
I can use.
yeah.
Um, we look up at the sky and we see stars, right? And and with the advances in telescopes and everything, we know that, oh, we thought we were seeing a star here. When we zoomed in on it, oh, that's a whole galaxy.
Mhm.
That's the equivalent of the Milky Way, of which we are just one teeny tiny star system out of billions in that
Mhm.
Milky Way. And in a way, you could look at each of those galaxies as an oversoul, right? It's got all those parts. So it really is like the enormity of it. The enormity of it is hard to comprehend. And I truly, truly, from the depth of my soul, believe that we are all one we are all an expression of one divine source, God, creator. And and then much like with that analogy, like each of our oversouls is one part of that being wanting to learn and expand. And I guess the other analogy that always kind of worked for me was the way I've come to understand the Jewish tree of life with the like, okay, at the top is the single circle. And then that single circle becomes aware that it exists. Well, if it's aware it exists, it also awares there's something that's not it, comes two. And then three, and then the whole journey down to manifesting as a physical being. And then the journey back up through the tree to source is kind of a, and in this lifetime, I was not raised Jewish. I have a lot of Jewish information, but and I spent a lot of time reading Jewish texts about the tree of life and different things because it just spoke to me. So of part of myself knew it, and it was just kind of relearning it. But I don't know it enough to explain it very well. But for people who know that reference, it might click. So,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm. Mhm.
but baby being, there's you know, as we talk about incarnation on this planet Earth, you know, almost everything on this planet has sim that is has similar structure, two eyes, two ears, you know, a mouth that eats, digestive system, something that poops out, right? There's a lot of similarities. Plants are different, but almost all the plants have a similarity of taking in nutrients and doing things. And that's why, as you know, being a scientist, we have the different kingdoms of organization, right? So, yeah, I do believe it is all truly connected in ways that is just beyond our poor little brain's ability to
Comprehend
articulate.
and
Yeah.
articulate.
And
Mm.
experience as a baby being, I've met some baby beings who are like, I don't know, they said come this way. I came this way, you know, and is like, well, does that just mean that they're new to Earth? They've never incarnated in Earth. Maybe they have a lot of experience somewhere else. Or or you know, are they truly like, hey, this is a new soul altogether? God's like, I need to experience something else, and whoop, created a new aspect of themselves. That I don't know. I don't have the answer to. But I've met baby beings that are that level of, I don't know, to ones that have so much awareness. They're like, oh yes, well, I'm incarnating here with this person because they were my grandfather in this life and this, and we got this connection, this connection. They have all of the things all lined up and they know it. And they're just like, yep, okay, and here comes the moment, and boop, I'm in. And then there's all the ones in between.
Yeah.
So,
I had this experiences with well, I don't know if it's one or maybe more than one baby beings, where I told them, hey, if you really want a body, my cat would really love a kitten.
right?
And, and not long after, I have kittens. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And this is gonna like more people. Do you have to come in as a human to have the experience you want to have, to work the karma with the people? I think at some point, yes. Every point, no. I think about the number of dogs that I've had and my current puppy and my son just got a dog, and oh my gosh, those two are like, they got karma. They got like, you could just see those like, all right, this is interesting. Um, and there's a lot of classes and schools that will, you know, just treat baby beings as if they're annoying ants or gnats that just need to be collected up and destroyed. And I'm very cautious about that. I do not recommend that approach. I mean, if you want to show them the picture of get away from me because I can do this, that maybe is one thing. Um, but I think we have to be aware, just as aware of baby beings have more awareness than thought forms. You know, they have more awareness than um, remnants. Revenant. They're they they have awareness, and so we have to be careful with that. And I we could talk for 2 years on that. Um, so I don't want to go too far in that, but just yes, you've probably been a baby being in many different ways, and some people even have the experience of knowing that they have like, oh, I'm actually operating three bodies right now. I have this life and this life and this life and this life
Mhm.
at the same time. Like, okay, that's not to keep track of. Good luck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I had one experience where I realized I have another body. Um, so you know how like when you stand up and you kind of black out a little bit? like the blood pressure and all that.
Hmm.
So at one time I stood up very quickly and I was kind of dizzy. So I just find a wall and lean into it so that I don't fall over, you know. I guess I must have blacked out for I don't know how long. And then I went to my other life and it was just a very normal life, you know, like, oh, this is me, this is my body, this is my family, which is different. This is my, you know, whatever, this is my house, this is what I do. It's just so also normal. I don't know how long I have that awareness until one point, and I realized, oh wait, my this body, this physical body, is still there, leaning against the wall.
Well, I better go back.
I better get back. So I came back and I opened my eyes, you know, and like, oh right, I'm here. This house, this family. Oh right.
This is my body. I know who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up, but yeah, I have an awareness of having, well, I had two more bodies than what I have right now. And I became really aware of it when I was aware that one of them died.
Mm.
And and again, there's a certain part of my brain that would tap into that information, and just kind of keeping track. And then suddenly like, oh yeah, I can't. Oh, that it's gone.
Mm.
Body's gone. And, yeah, and I really grieved it for quite a while, actually. And this body went into a lot of fear. I felt like, are we dying? If that one died, do we have to die? Is it an all of one together?
Mhm.
Um, and for me, the answer is no. Each body, if you have multiple bodies, they're going to have their life, different things, and it is another example of that. Your spirit has so much capability.
Mhm.
All the knowledge and the power of the universe. Teeny tiny living space.
Probably so much more than we can comprehend and explain in words.
Yes. And the amount that we the amount that of our spirit that this body can actually hold, in some ways takes processing and training of bringing it in, because our spirit and the body's electric, our spirit is energy, they interface, and how much we get to be here is a whole different, different schools of energy healing, different things. I have different
Yeah.
thoughts about that.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I
thank
answered your
you so
question
much.
with more questions.
No, that was great. Well, thank you so much, Shareen. This has been fantastic. It's taken us 4 Zooms,
Four sessions.
four
Four.
sessions. I really enjoyed this and thank you so much for being here.
And yes, thank you for having me. And I do, if people are curious, well, I have a strong affinity for the Berkeley Psychic Institute. I found a lot of my answers there. I'm not saying it's for everybody, because
Mhm,
it really isn't for everybody.
mhm.
But one thing I like about it is they don't tell you the answers.
Yeah,
They invite you to discover your own.
yeah.
And I hope that through these conversations, and people are not taking what I say as the answer,
Mhm.
but as an invitation to
Look for yourself.
explore, think, wonder, and find their own answers to that wonderment. So
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, I said just
Um,
had to clarify that.
and this is again just an invitation if you want to. Like, where can people find you if maybe they want to?
I do have my own business, Limitless Spirit. There's a website. I'm sure you could probably put links to it
Mm-hmm,
somewhere.
mm-hmm,
Um, at Berkeley Psychic Institute, I do teach the Your Own Birth classes. You
mm-hmm,
do have to take their meditation one style to learn how to sit still for that amount of time and watch energy.
mm-hmm.
So, um, but yeah, those are the two easiest places to find me.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And wow. Wow,
Ah,
this is probably um, much more than what I thought the conversation would be, but it's been amazing. Thank you.
well, thank you.